So before I began making, I decided I needed to design what I wanted my hope chest to look like. So I wanted it to look like an old treasure chest, and so I decided on this shape. And I did some brainstorming about what I wanted the outside to look like, and I like purple and blue with a little bit of jade green, and I like stars and moons, and what would I put inside of it, and what I wanted it to be made out of, and all that kind of stuff. So definitely design it before you start making it. From this, I started to plan the net shape of my hope chest, and that's the important part that you have to look at before you start making. You need a little bit of time thinking. So if you're good at geometry and shapes, this will look fairly simple to you. So I started planning on a sheet of paper what my 3D shape would look like. So I wanted to make a 3D cube, rectangular cube, and so I came up with this design. And you see I've got these little tabs on either end to help me glue it together. So I decided on how big the bottom would be, and I unfolded a cardboard box and I started to measure out the sides, how high I wanted it to be. And I got the base shape of my chest. So at the end I'll put a little measurement of what mine is in measurement, and you can copy my template if you want. So this was the very basis of my chest, and then I needed to think about how I'd make the top part, which is this curved part, which I drew out and then realised, oh, I didn't really know how I would make that. So I've got the bottom of my chest, and in a moment when I glue it all together, and you can use masking tape if you'd like to stick the sides together, that will be the bottom of it. How we make the top? So I decided I'd take a rectangular piece of cardboard and I rolled it up so that it would be easier to use. I created the shapes at the side that my top section would be, and this is the same width as my hope chest. And then I decided I would glue this part rounded around my bottom piece to make my top of my hope chest, just like that. Now it doesn't have to be a semicircle, it could be any shape that you'd like. You could do a triangle, that would be a lot easier. You could do more of, say, a trapezius shape, so flat on top instead of rounded, 5 sides. That would be a lot easier to do as well. So depending on what you want to make is what this shape will be for your top half. Again, at the end, I'll put a little paper measurement plan of what mine is in sizes, and you can copy my template if you want to. So once you've measured it all out and you've checked that it all fits together, all these side pieces fit, I've got 2 side pieces, then you're going to start gluing it together. So you can either use masking tape or a glue gun, or you can paper mache the edges using a bit of PVA glue and newspaper. I'm going to hot glue gun mine. You guys know I like my hot glue gun. And then we're going to start to think about decorating it together. So very simply, I've got a rectangle, a big rectangle, and then on either side I've got 2 rectangles that are slightly shorter, and that will depend on how high you want your hope chest to be, how deep it is inside. Then either side of the short end of my rectangle, I've got these 2 rectangles that are as wide as my bottom triangle and as thick as my 2 rectangles either side. Very, very simple net diagram of a rectangular cube would. So very simple, has no top. The top we make separately. Okay guys, so here's mine all glued together. I added these pieces of cardboard on the back, and it made a hinge so it can open and close. What I suggest doing is, if you're going to paint the inside like I did, paint it before you glue it together, because it can be a little bit messy otherwise. And this way you can keep all the colour that you want inside, and you can paint the outside a different colour. So if you're using masking tape, what I suggest you do is you take small tabs of masking tape like this, and you mask over the edge, inside and out, and that will give you a completely supported structure to stick it together. So if you're doing this version where you use the masking tape, make sure you overlap a little bit, top and bottom, and you can go all the way around your structure, all over the sides, every edge, and that's the way that you can use masking tape instead of glue. Now I'm going to paint mine a base colour, and then I'm going to do some decoupage. Decoupage is where you take images from magazines, newspapers, and you glue them onto the surface using PVA, and you create like a collage. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to paint mine a base colour, probably lilac, because I like purple, and then I'll get back and we can do some decoupage together. Okay, so I painted mine, and then I decided to pick out some pictures from a magazine that I really liked, and I used a glue stick and I stuck them down. Now this is called decoupage. When you take images from magazines or newspapers or something, and you glue them down and you layer them over each other to create a collage effect. Now the more that you collage over and the busier the section gets, the better it looks, I think. What you want to do is make sure when you choose your images, you put them onto your hope chest, and you just make sure that they fit, or otherwise you might need to move them around a little bit or tear them a bit apart like I did on this side. You can pop them down with a little bit of Pritt stick to begin with, just so that you're able to like get them into the place that you want to before they're permanent. But what I recommend you do once that they are down and in place is take some PVA glue with a little bit of water mixed in, so it's a little bit runny. It looks a little bit like the nicest way to say this, really runny icing. And then you want to make sure that you completely go over all of your images and all over the edges of those images, so that they kind of absorb the glue and they stick down flat to your chest. So you're going to go all the way over. Make sure everything is well stuck down. You can keep adding as much images as you want to your decoupage. And like I said, I think it looks better the more images you add. So you could do this in layers. You could do 1 or 2 layers where you put your first images down, you go and get a different magazine. Don't tear up any magazines that you're not allowed, and definitely don't tear up books. But yeah, you could decorate yours with people that you admire. I've chosen things that make me happy, so I've chosen flowers and some words that I think are really nice. So yeah, you can decorate yours with anything that you choose. It could be maybe cartoon characters that you like, whatever makes you feel good. And then make sure you cover it and you let it dry completely before you use it, obviously. And once you're fully done, make sure that you push any sides and any bits down that might come unstuck. Your hope chest is nearly complete. As well as using like magazines and things to decorate this, you could also stick on any ribbons, any nice pieces of material that you also like, and you can do the same thing. You can glue them down with a little bit of glue stick and then go over with your slightly watered down PVA glue, and just make sure everything sticks down really well. Any bubbles that you get, brush them out and down to the sides, and just keep going until you've done all of it like I have. Just like that, and then you gotta let it dry. Okay guys, so this is my finished hope chest. You can make it for a gift for someone. You can make it so that you can keep all the things that you are cherish inside. It could be little notes or poems or postcards. It could be photographs. It could be things that you collect. I'll show you, give you a sneak peek of what's in mine. So this is a piece of quartz that I found when I was walking with Leon, and I thought it was really cool, and I can feel it and touch it and think about that time when we were walking in Kaiserstuhl, So yep, you can use it to keep things nice and safe. So on the front of mine, I also did some black detailing just with a permanent marker. I went around and did some nice dots and stripes, and really you can decorate it any way that you choose. You can use decoupage like I did. You can paint it. You can cover it in fabric and bows and buttons and ribbons, whatever you want to do. It's really up to you. There you go, guys. Hope you had a good day. I'll see you next week. Bye.